I'm gonna tell you 3 reasons on why your power system probably suck, why the readers don't want to read your novel because your power system suck, or whatever fictional piece that you're making. These are 3 consistent rules that you need to follow in order to make a good power system. Now, this is going to be a pure informational video, but anybody who listens to this video will be able to obtain something out of it. Even if you're writing novels, or even if you're just a reader, you'll be able to appreciate this video, because if you're writing novels, well, obviously you're gonna get the knowledge to be able to write a good power system. But if you're also a reader, you'll also be able to appreciate a good power system. You'll be able to avoid the bad power systems. And if one day you ever get inspired to make your own novel, well, there you go. Not only did you read a whole bunch of novels and now you already know what is good and what is bad, but you also know the rules and the fundamental and the key in order to make a good power system. And I'm going to teach you those 3 key fundamentals. I'm gonna break it down, don't worry. This is gonna be a pure informational video. So I have like a couple notes here, you know, here and there, just to basically keep myself in a guideline, because I tend to ramble on a lot and yada yada yada. So there's 3 fundamentals. There's role, rules, and then scale. Now, scale really don't matter as much to a lot of people. This really, now in cultivation novels, scale kind of matters, but that's just because how fundamentally cultivation novels are. But this really applies, these 3 fundamentals apply to quite literally any fictional power system. So like I said, roles, rules, and scale. So let's talk about role. What role do the power systems serve? Now, recently Fragpunk came out and they have these thing called shard cards, and it was like, and the lore is something I forgot, but something happened in the world. Shard cards started to become more important. Everybody started using these shard cards, and it made me think, like, how did that affect society? Politically, how did that work? How did the government react to, like, for example, if you have a story where the stereotypical web novel story of you lived in a world and your world get hit with mana, or how does that affect the society, the politics? How's that's going to affect the characters later on? Is there a source to, and is this, like, let's just say my example, right? If mana hits the world and the whole government, everything goes wrong, stuff like that, everybody's getting abilities, stuff like that, obviously that's going to cause a conflict, and if that do, how can that help the character grow? How, or what way can that reshape the world culture to give clarity to that power system? Cultivation does this well because, well, cultivation is the act of gaining spiritual energy in a world where it's a dog-eat-dog world and heaven controls you and you have no control over your fate. So what is the purpose of cultivation? To be able to break out of that fate, free yourself from heaven's gaze and heaven's control, to be able to be free and unfeathered and free from restraint of the river of time, the control of fate, and beyond reincarnation, basically to achieve nirvana. And that secret source of conflict could be, oh, I don't want to be, you know, controlled by heaven. You know, it's the spirit. Almost every single cultivation MC has this. I don't want to be controlled by heaven. Look at lightning is the only way. I don't want heaven to control me like my father. And that became his source to grow as a character. And that also fueled the power system through Gravis in Lightning is the Only Way as the example. That's one way that roles is really important to making a power system. Now, that's 1/3. The second half is rules. Obviously, now, cultivation get this wrong plenty of time. I'm just using cultivation as an example. This could apply to any power system you could think of. But I'm just using cultivation as an example because obviously I'm a cultivation YouTuber. Now, every system isn't limitless. Sadly, in cultivation, technically most systems are. Sadly, and that kind of ruins it because like, for example, Arjun's universe, I thought the 10th step was the last thing. Now that I know, because of Beyond the Timescape, there's multiple in the whole, like, what was it, the Dow clusters and shit like that, bro. Deep Earth, Brilliant Heaven, I meant, it kind of ruined the novelty of the system, and it kind of made it meaningless because it's like there really isn't no boundary. It feels like there's really no precise rule, and obviously it makes sense for cultivation to keep on going, but I think there needs to be a boundary. There needs to be a beginning, and there also needs to be an end, and not only in the story but also in the power system, bro. But sadly these authors be trying to juice shit out. A strong system isn't limitless, so you need to be able to set precise rules, boundaries, and trade-offs so that the power feels earned rather than the MC just, like, I always hate when, for example, the worst type of cultivation system is when they only need to absorb enough spiritual energy to break through. Like, they don't need to ponder nothing. They don't need to actually question nothing. They don't even need to go out or fight or find resources. These niggas just, I got enough energy to break through? Oh, I ate this 1,000 years ginseng spirit root. I got enough energy to break through. Let me break through. And it's the same thing in the immortal realms. All they need is just enough energy to break through. But the only thing different is they have to learn laws. But the only thing different between gaining energy and learning laws is instead of having to sit there and gain energy, now you have to sit there and study laws. And I like it when it's more obtuse than that. That's why Arjun does so many good things with Tao comprehension and his cultivation system before the whole beyond the timescape. Or recently, a regressor tale of a cultivator. Or a regressor tale of a cultivation. A regressor tale of cultivation. It's really like on the surface it seemed brain rot. I got the stereotypical cultivation, and then the martial artists kind of do body techniques. They make their body stronger, but they're nothing like the cultivators. The cultivators can use spells, they can fly and step in the air. It's like the stereotypical brain rot novels that I read in like some NTL trash website, but it also fleshes it out, changes it certain things completely with the whole red intent, blue intent line, even breaking through in the chi refining realm. Each step is a qualitative change in some shit you have to do, like learning mantras or like doing a ritual and gaining star energy at a certain time when the constellations are out and asking the heavens to gain you. So like it's certain stuff like that, or like that's the stuff, the clear rules and limitation and costs that need to be in a power system. You know what I mean? So like Urgent does this perfectly with the first step, second step, third step, fourth step. Cultivation novels do this inherently with the whole mortal, immortal, and sometimes the divine or Hongming or whatever you like to call the higher realm, beyond the immortal. But usually most cultivation novels go mortal, then the immortal realms. Like they really already have that boundaries, but some cultivation authors don't know how to do trade-offs and precise rules well. Like I said, some are just gain enough energy or learn the law enough and then you break through. Your law comprehension hit this, you upgrade to the next realm. Oh my god. It's really straightforward. Like, what's the drawbacks? This is why I love Reverend Insanity so much. There's so many drawbacks and trade-offs, the resources, the limitations. There's a pro, but there's also a con. There's something you have to give up, but there's so much to gain when you give that up. It's an eye for an eye. That it doesn't always have to lean hardly on that side, but there do need to be some trade-offs. There do need to be some rules. There do need to be some boundaries, man. Stop just letting these dudes sit in the cave all day and absorbing energy. And that also ties into scalability, at least when it comes to cultivation novels, because if you don't know what scalability is, which is the third point of my whole how to make a good power system or why your power system really sucks, scalability, make sure it's consistent and it scales over time. Plan how the power system will scale over time, whether it's through tiers, levels, realms, whatever, bro. Mastery. If you learned one skill and you finesse this skill to a point to when you level 4 at this skill, you could do it as easy as breathing. You could do crazy. I don't know, bro. Think of whatever you have to do. Consistency on how the rules are applied builds trust with the readers. Remember that. You need consistency and scalability along with the rules in order to give the readers trust. That's how you build it. This all works in tandem, guys. This is like that diagram where it's like 3 circles and in the middle overlap. Like, this is literally it. It's the key. This is truly the key. These 3 things work in synergy. They're like a triangle for making good novels or good fiction. But, you know, I'm talking about cultivation novels, so. And a lot of these people who clicked on this video want to learn how to make a good cultivation novel. And also, scalability also provides growth. It stops the novel or whatever story you're making from being stale. It instantly provides character growth because, obviously, the character is getting stronger. But that doesn't mean substitute it for personal character growth, like character, feelings, emotions, motive, drive. That's a whole nother video I could make on how to make a good character for a cultivation novel or fiction in general. But gaining the MC or the character gaining power obviously is quote-unquote indirect character growth, and it also escalates the challenges throughout the story so that it doesn't just, like I said earlier, it just don't be stale. And also, if you follow this with tandem with the rules, it also keeps the stakes high, because although he's going up in the realms, for example, like in cultivation, the stakes are getting higher and higher because the trade-offs are even bigger, the drawbacks are even bigger, but the gains are even so much more. This is why Reverend Insanity is so praised so much, because as he gets up in the realms, the shit that he does is even more and more insane. Feng Wan is even more and more insane. The things that people do are more and more insane, but the trade-off is absolutely insane, and the scale is absolutely insane. And that therefore affects the world on how the role is in the power system, especially in the immortal realms where society and the politics and characters are different in general. A regular tale of a cultivator is like this. When you become a heavily divine being or a heavenly being, whatever it's called, your character quite literally changed. I'm not going to spoil on why, but your character quite literally changed qualitatively. And that therefore ties into the power system, and that also therefore ties into the rules and also the society and how politics play and how characters bounce off of each other and the interactions, and that causes a whole domino effect, guys. You have to have this trifecta. If you do not have this trifecta, you're going to fail. So let's review everything we have to say. Define a role. Make sure the power system has a role. What is the role of it? How did it come in here? How did it establish here? How did it change society? How does society adapt to this? Lord of Mysteries does this very well for the first, I don't know, 50 chapters of this, or before Klein get his Beyonder potion, when he even transmigrated. This doesn't just happen with just, oh, the MC lives on Earth and then Mana hits the world. It can even be for a transmigration story. So there's no excuses. You can still flesh out a novel or a fiction piece with transmigration. And a regressor tale of a cultivator or cultivation made me realize this, that you can still use a brain rot trope like regression and still make a good novel. So once you define the role of the power system, then you got to set the rules, the limitations, and the cost with that power system, and then you ensure that it has scalability off of not only the world but the characters and how it grows, the politics and stuff like that. If you work that in tandem, like I said, rules, scale, and role, you'll essentially make the perfect novel, or at least the perfect power system to then put in whatever piece of media that you want. It's been your boy Boofy, Boofpack, and I am out. Peace.